Okay, so I recognize that some of you may be saying, well, James, have you ever done a 16-mile hike? No, I haven't. But I've done a 10-mile, and I've been doing a lot of research. One of the things that a lot of the videos you have to search for, if you're going to look at YouTube to do research, you have to search for top down, hiking the Narrows top down, 1 day. Most people do it in 2 days, 1 day. And that changes things because really you're talking about a trade-off of preparedness versus weight, right? So I'll show you. This is my CamelBak. I'm going to have Micah take this. There's about room enough for the pouch of water, and not much else. But we'll put some other things in here. He'll carry his food, that kind of stuff. But this is the pack I'm bringing. And you can see it's substantially bigger. I'm going to have a couple of knives. I'm going to bring some space blankets. I'll have some change of clothing and some of Micah's clothing as well. Just because, yes, not only does it get colder in the canyon, but you're also you're losing sunlight much faster because you're so deep in there, and you're going to be in the water. So that's going to be part of it. And then I got a couple of trekking poles. One of the things to note about the trekking pole, the recommendation is that you have something sturdy that's about shoulder height. So if you have one trekking pole, then you're not as balanced. If you have two, maybe you don't fall on your trekking poles and you don't have to worry about whether or not you've fallen over and bent them or broken them or something. But something like this is nice and sturdy. It's a stick, right? Nice sturdy stick, and you can see this is probably about shoulder height right there, so this might be something that you want to consider. If you've got room in your car, you might consider a stick. But the information that I got, that I saw, was if you're going to rent the gear, that's fine. Just be careful because the shoes that you're renting have been worn by lots and lots of people, and they're not comfort fit to your foot, which means you're hiking 16 miles in somebody else's shoes, and that can actually cause you problems and make it a really difficult hike. I'm going to be doing the same thing Dan is. I'm wearing some light shoes, some tennis shoes. They'll easily drain the water. If you don't have shoes that drain water, then you have shoes that carry water, and if you're carrying water, that's an extra 3 or 4 pounds that you're carrying in your feet. You'll be in the river a lot, but when you're not in the river, you don't want to be carrying that extra weight. The neoprene socks. The neoprene socks is just to keep your legs warm. It's effectively what do you call that? A wetsuit for your feet. There are probably places that it'll be. Some of the videos I saw, it was like this deep of water. A lot of it will be later in the season, and it's a drought too, so maybe it'll be quite a bit less, but still there will be opportunity there where it'll be above the neoprene socks, and you're likely to get dirt or rocks or whatever in it's just the way you're hiking in water. It's just going to happen. So the neoprene really is to insulate your feet. When you're hiking with them on, likely you'll get hot. So my recommendation would be, I think for the first 3 hours, 3 hours, maybe a little bit more, is going to be, you start off on a dirt road and then it cuts off to a trail, and then you're hiking next to the river, and it isn't until you actually start getting the canyon start to cut in that you actually find yourself actually in the water. And so you'll cross the river a couple of times, and then you'll be in the water, and that's when you may want to change into the neoprene. I am also planning on bringing an extra pair of shoes because once you hit the bottom and you come out and get on the river walk, it's about 1.5 miles maybe to the tram, and then it's on the tram, and then it's from the visitor center all the way back to St. George, and you're not going to want to do that in your wet shoes. Dry bag. They do recommend that. The poor man's dry bag is a garbage sack. So that bag that you saw, I could easily line that with a 10, 13 gallon garbage sack and tie it off, especially if I'm not planning on being all the way submerged. I can hold the bag above my head, and it'll keep everything I need dry. Even if I fall in, it won't get soaked through very easily, very quickly. Or you could do Ziploc bags if that's what you're into. So a couple of those things would work. Do not filter the water. There are cyanotoxins in the water. If people are using the restroom in the water, You're supposed to pack solid waste out, but everything else is like just get in the water. Otherwise, there's places, rocks you'll walk around and it just smells like a latrine, because that's what it is. That's what it's become. Do the environment a favor, put it in the water. So you'll want to pack your water. I'm not planning on, again, this is one of those things where, yes, you do want to be prepared, but at 16 miles, you don't want to be carrying 40, 50 pounds of weight. 20 pounds is going to be a bit of weight to be carrying around anyway. So you're trading preparedness for the weight that you're going to be carrying around. I would recommend nuts, high protein type of things, maybe some protein bars, dried fruit, those kinds of things that you could snack on the trail. I did come across one hiker video that was like, yes, you may want to consider that you're going to be, things may happen, and you may find that you're going to have to spend the night on the trail. It's just the nature of things. So you want to be prepared. You want to be able to have some longer sleeve clothes, maybe a light pant, something along those lines, just so that I'm taking a couple of space blankets. Those are super light, super compact, and they'll reflect the body heat and trap that in. So you may not be comfortable, but you may stay warm. So that's what I'm planning on bringing. A couple of first aid kits. I'm bringing duct tape. That is the hiker's secret for blisters. So you guys don't have to worry about that. I'll have a roll, maybe not a full roll. I want to save the weight, right? And shoot, if you're using that much duct tape, maybe you've got other problems with your feet. But hopefully that gives you guys a kind of an idea as to what I'm looking into, what I'm doing. It's basically, it sounds like I've come to the same conclusion Dan has, that you want to go light, you want to go easy, and it's going to be 16 miles is a long way. I walk around the neighborhood, and that's paved. It's got elevation, and I can maintain that elevation. I average about 3.5 miles an hour. So if you were to do the math, you're talking, okay, if I keep that pace up, maybe I drop it. Let's call it 3. So really, you're talking 5 or 6 hours. Well, the fact of the matter is, once you get in the river, there's no paved and it's no even. I mean, it's not even a trail. It's just a bunch of rocks that you can't see in the water. And so we're not going to be going 3 miles an hour. We're in 1.5 to 2 miles an hour. So it really will take 10 to 12 hours. And that's assuming no stops and breaks. Extra socks, extra shoes. That'll probably be key. Otherwise, you won't really have to worry about the sun, because you're not going to see much of it except for that beginning part of the day. I don't know about bugs. Nobody talks about bugs. I usually, when we hike around here, I carry pepper spray, just in case we come across wild animals or maybe wildlife. Just plan for it. Be careful, and it'll be fun. We'll be fine.